early 2000s, the traditional woes of the modern bedroom guitarist had long been ignored. To practice or jam along with a song, you'd have to plug in your guitar to an interface, into your computer, boot up your workstation, open iTunes, select your song. For all that effort, you'd find very little control over the tones you're graced with. With tools like Gearbox by Line 6, you essentially have a functional tone for practice at low volume, which may appease your neighbours, but rarely your ears.
Disrespectful, son of a...
Jamie Ruchman, Calvin Abel and friends were inspired by the release of the iPhone to create a single cable solution in the form of an app. They called it Jam Up. The app would allow the user to choose a tone, a song, and play along almost instantaneously by using a simple adapter, much cheaper than an audio interface and fully portable. Following the success of Jam Up, the team wanted to create a new software with infinitely more versatility in tone sculpting, something to push the bar past the likes of current amp sim leaders at the time, like Guitar Rig or Amplitude. They came up with this. Bias Amp, an impressive tone factory with presets closely modelled on popular amps in many genres, as well as the ability to build a virtual amp from scratch and tone matching capabilities. This was big news for budget songwriters. Tones that were suitable for a presentable mix, crafted down to the tubes, on an interface that could be understood by players at any level. But now, Bias 2 is here. And oh my. In addition to the configuration options in its first form, Bias 2 not only gives the user full control over preamp, power amp, transformer, cabs, mic, EQ, tone stack and amp match, but adds improvements to low mid-gain tones, new tube types, amp packs, Celestian cab impulses, saturation control, dual miking, and possibly the coolest feature I've seen on a modeler, audiophile amp matching with automatic tone dialing. So, we got the 5150, and we're going to kind of see what we can do from here with all of the tweakable elements. Just running through a Protone Dead Horse and a Smart Gate, and let's see what we can come up with. So already we've got a pretty cool tone just straight out of the box. If we go into the preamp, we can see what tubes we have. And we've got the new tubes, the 12BH7s and the 12AY7s. So let's kind of compare them. They're really nice. That's a really warm gain tone. I like that. We've got the 12AY7s. And that's just a little tight for me. Definitely more for low gain. So let's have a look. I liked the 12BH7, so we're going to keep those. So maybe... Okay, yeah, that's beginning to sound a little better. So as we can see, we've got a little bit of choice there in the preamp. So now we've got the tone stack. This makes quite a drastic difference. So I've got quite a mid-scoop tone. Maybe we could push a little bit in and bring some of that bass out. Ooh. Cool, that's quite a hefty sound. Power amp. 6L6s are what you would expect to come with a 6505. There is the 6534. Let's see if it sounds like that. That is pretty cool. I like that. Pretty happy with all of this, so we can just quickly hear the solid state. It's just a little less dynamic. The split load, maybe a little cold. Single-ended. Again, those dynamics are just a little bit lost over the push-pull. Transformer. So I don't know, 5Y 3GT. I'm assuming this is just going to sound a little bit thinner. Yep, definitely the sag is coming through here. So let's stick with the GZ34. Maybe we'll bring out some of the compression. Yeah. You're not getting that bite that you tend to get with a tube amp at high gain. It tends to be that you strike and then it hits you. Let's have a look. Maybe it might be the cab. If I put a C414 based on the AKG 414 right at the back, we might get some of that whoosh, some of that bass sound coming at us. Okay, that's cool. I think maybe it could be a little bit more defined. Maybe a little brighter. Put it back a little. Cool. We're definitely getting somewhere. We've got a parametric EQ in here. So, I mean, for me, top end's still a little bit sharp, so we'll just dip it a tiny bit. Lovely. Okay, cool. We've also got built-in reverb, which we really don't want on high gain, but it's there. Don't ever do that. And also other quick features which are cool, the quick snap. So we've got that setting open. We can go to quick snap number 2, quick snap number 3, and we can alter this, and then we can compare tones, which is pretty neat. Obviously, there's the amp match, which we'll look at later. But overall, that's just one of the amps, and that's the amount of differences you can make to one of those tones. And you are graced with many, many choices. You are not stuck for choice when using Bias 2. I've been a user of Bias for years now. It's my favourite solution for practicing writing and demoing tracks without having to crack out the tube amp and microphones. But it's always been a tool for me. If I wanted to release a track, I wouldn't think twice before re-recording guitar parts with the Boogie. Has that changed since Bias 2 was released? Well, the interface is a little bit slicker. The new dual miking options means that your guitar tone has a little bit more presence and size in the mix. And the new responsive tone controls do really help when shaping your sound. There is one niggle for me. When you're playing lead guitar, you might notice something a little bit strange when you play on the high notes. It's like a weird wobbling sound. To demonstrate, I'm going to make some horrible noises. It's like, it's there. I can hear it. I think you might be able to hear it too. The day this is fixed is the day that I would consider using Bias over a tube amp in a recording session. That said, it really is a dream for the bedroom recording artist. Bias 2 then is a welcome upgrade. The already solid amp modeler gets a facelift with noticeable improvements to gain channels and more options than a Mumbai curry house. If you're looking at spending a couple of $100 on amp modeling software for practice and writing in any genre, if you're chewing through tubes on your current amp, or just want a pretty cool new toy to tinker with endlessly, Bias just might be for you.